Time is an insurmountable barrier for everything except love. It is there that the profound connection between beings in the cosmos unsettles those who desire destruction. Nothing can stand against that energy. Our souls will always be one, no matter the distance that the years may try to place between us. Sooner or later, I will find you. I swear it.
Creating a character in OpenArt is easy, and now with the new structure, it's even easier. Let's go to characters, and within the general character creation template, we'll find three main options. Start with an image, describe the character and build it step by step, or use the new character builder. If we go with the first option, we'll need to choose 4 images, or just one image, give it a name, a description, and create it. There's no particular cost because we already have the images. The second option is to try to create this character with a description, because not only can we use Nano Banana, but we can also choose to use Midjourney 4 or 4.5. And on top of that, we have these options that help us find a style that's closer to what our imagination wants. And with that, we'll start building the images. I recommend always using just one image and going from image to image, trying to find this character as if we were doing it the other way, but with the builder. These two options aren't the ones I'm most interested in right now. The one I'm interested in right now is the last one. Let's go in here and we'll see that at the start of this process, we get to choose the vibe the character will have. It can be casual, street style, fashion, or from the 2000s. You don't have to pick any of these for sure, because in the last step, we can guide this with our own prompt. But if we don't feel like using any prompt and we know that any of these styles covers what we want to achieve, great, we just pick it. In fact, I'm gonna pick one that's the dystopian style. And here comes the next part. We have to choose masculine, feminine, or androgynous. Any of the three, depending on what we're designing, will work great for us. And this trio is really nice because it pretty much sums up almost everything we could create in the market. Personally, right now, I need a masculine one. Now we're choosing the ethnicity? The ethnicity is either Caucasian, African, East Asian, or Latino. There are definitely some missing, but that's what the custom option is for. If we want to select another type of ethnicity that exists in the world, one that we want or need, or even mix these ethnicities to create a new character, that's something we can do. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're gonna mix these and hit apply. And then we're gonna choose the age. I want it to be a teenage age. Actually, I already created a character to see how the process works. Right now, I'm gonna pick something of the same age so that it can be the co-protagonist of that story. I'm gonna narrow down the options, and in my case, I'd be happy with 3 options. That way, I'll use fewer credits. It's really good to know how many options we wanna give our creativity and our budget, because if we don't have much of a budget, maybe 2 options are enough. Less than 60 credits per option, so that's fine. And if I want, here's where the extra part comes in. With these options, I'm gonna start generating, and it'll give me the ones I asked for. There's a limit of up to 4. There's not much more to do than wait for the options to finish processing. Well, one thing I didn't do was define the clothing a bit more, so it's gonna stick with the reference image it has of that model, including the background. And I think the character that attracts me the most aesthetically is the third option. I'm gonna set it as the character, and you'll see that we're working within the same structure of elements. In other words, the general technical structure for creating characters doesn't change, but the process and the procedure for building the character do change. Now we have the character, we're gonna call him Ewan Gardner, and he'll simply be known as Future Boy, okay? No, don't ask me for more. Once we hit create, this character will be added to the character lineup. That's it. The character is totally and completely created, and if we want, we can choose one of these options. I'm gonna choose to create an image, and what I'm gonna do is take this same prompt that's right here. Perfect. We have everything we need. The size is set to 4:3. I recommend changing this to 16:9. Here, the system will automatically set the model to automatic, and I don't want that. I need it to be Nano Banana Pro, which is the best model on the market for this job. I need it to be a single image, always just one image, and I need it to be 16 by 9 to start because that's the best. 21 by 9 is the best for generating characters in different positions, and 21 by 9, of course, gives you that cinematic look. If you want to make a movie with the same structure as cinema, that's the best format you can choose. We click Generate. The result, an amazing result, very precise. Nano Banana is truly incredible, and I don't even want to imagine what it's going to be like when they release the Pro version of Nano Banana 2. It's going to shake up the market. Once you have this, my recommendation is that you create character sheets with all the different stages. What for? So that, based on that, now you go to the character section, and I go to the character library. This little gear here lets me make changes. So you can look for the images you made with all the options: front, profile, left profile, right profile, and use them to update the character, hit confirm, and then you'll have a much more accurate character. Fill out these forms because we're using this since we don't really understand how to make prompts very well. So we need a helper. And this is like a helper that lets us define this human or humanoid character more precisely and more quickly, which is obviously geared toward realism. It's aimed at photorealism. That's my recommendation. You can choose not to take my recommendation and use the OpenArt character creation model just as it's designed and work with that pretty well. I'll repeat what I always tell you. This is never going to be perfect because we're in a kind of historical moment where everything is growing, everything is changing, and everything is evolving. This is the best method I know for getting consistent characters. Almost without error. I'd say 95% perfect. See you in the next video. I hope this was helpful for you. Bye-bye.